Hello YouTube, this is Exxon, and in this video I'm going to be reviewing the CZ 455 line of rifles. The one that I have right now is the Varmint Evolution model, but the points that I'm going to be making will be concerning most of the rifles in the 455 line. This particular model has a threaded barrel, and on it I have a suppressor. This is an ATEC CMM4 with 2 extra modules, and like most rimfire 22s with a suppressor and a full-length barrel, this is completely silent. When fired with subsonic ammo, you can basically just hear the sound of the bolt drop. It's that silent. These new 455s are a new range of interchangeable barrel models. They come in most of the rimfire calibers. The 22 long rifle, like this, the 22 VMR and the 17 HMR. They have also made all the stocks between the different 455s interchangeable. That means that all of the stocks will have the varmint barrel cutout. Even if you don't have a varmint barrel, you will still have the same cutout. So there's going to be a pretty generous free float. This is clearly free floated. Some of the earlier C-sets, the 452s, had a dovetail cutout underneath the barrel and a bolt running in there. This doesn't, and I'm glad they've removed that. This particular rifle I'm going to be using as a trainer for my precision rifle. I'm basically building a Tikka T3, and I'm working on getting a vertical grip for that, and I'm going to be using this as the trainer for that rifle. Now, the only disadvantage of using this rifle as a trainer for a precision rifle is the fact that it doesn't have any sling stud underneath the forend here. Now, I have seen a guy on YouTube who has bolted a small piece of Picatinny rail underneath here, and I think I may be doing the same thing. Now, CZ has a precision trainer in their 455 line. It's not yet available in Norway, that's why I went with this one. I was thinking about buying the thumbhole SST version, which for now has a different trigger. It has a much lighter trigger, but there has been some misfires in the US and some lawsuits, so they are being retrofitted with this trigger right here. This trigger is quite nice actually. It's not super light, but there is no creep. But I think these triggers will vary a lot from model to model. Mine is very good. Another thing about this grip, and I think it's the same for all the stock grips for at least this Varmint Evolution and the different thumbhole models. I'm not sure about the precision trainer, but the grip is basically the same on those models. And this grip is a little bit too short for me. If I grip it with my entire hand, my trigger finger wants to be on the top of the trigger here. And that's a bit uncomfortable, and that's not a usual way to fire a weapon. That's just doesn't work. Now I can force my finger down here, but that just causes tension in the rifle, and that's not good for precision. So I basically just hold with 2 fingers here and my pinky finger underneath the grip, and I get a much more natural angle on my hand and on my finger. These rifles are very precise, but like most 22 long rifles, they are very picky about their ammo. So basically what you have to do is to buy 1 pack of different brands of ammo and shoot groups. As you can see on this target right here, I've shot different groups with different types of ammo, and you can clearly see what type that runs well in this particular rifle. You should probably also clean in between each type of ammunition, because different types of ammunition will have different wax on them, and some that have copper plated bullets, like the CCI Win mags, they might not have wax on them. So in order to get a good representation of what these bullets can do, you should clean in between each type. Now there are some disadvantages to the C-sets. Not really disadvantages, but they have some breaking in to do when they are new. Some of the problems that people report is that the bolt is hard to bring fore and aft, and it can be hard to close. Mine was quite hard to close when I got it, but it's much better now. I have been doing some work on it. There's a slight squeaking sound now. It's kind of annoying, but I think I'll get rid of that once it wears in completely. In order to accelerate the break-in process, what I did was that I took the bolt. Basically, to remove the bolt, you just depress the trigger and you take it out. What I did was that I sanded down the recoil lug, which on these C-sets is actually this rear surface on the bolt handle, which rides against this notch where the bolt handle locks into. That's what keeps the bolt from sliding backwards from recoil. And those surfaces are blued. They have bluing on them, so what I did was that I sanded them down with some fine sandpaper and then polished them with ultra-fine Har Arkansas stone. And it's gotten much better. Another reason why the bolt might be hard to close is that when you lock the bolt actually travels a little bit forward. As you can see here, it's just a couple of millimeters. But when you do that, you're actually ramming the bullet into the grooves and lands of the barrel. And that causes a lot of friction. And not all bullets will be like that. Only the ones that are slightly longer. I shoot a lot of the subsonic bullets, and they seem to be a little longer. And the CCI Stingers, they are longer than normal rounds, and those will have that problem. They will be very hard to close the bolt on. One of the other problems is that the bolt can be hard to bring fore and aft. I didn't have that problem. This one is very nice. But from what I've read on the forums, what causes that problem is that the surface underneath here, in the middle there, that's actually the firing pin. If that surface is rough, it will cause a lot of friction when moving it back and forth. That's because it moves against, it rides against that lug you can see right there, which is spring-loaded. To remedy that problem, you basically disassemble the bolt. I will link to a video showing how to do that. And you sand down and polish that surface to see whether that's the problem with your bolt. Because it might be some other problem, but to check if that's the case with your rifle, you basically just put the rifle vertically like this and you press the trigger. If the bolt drops down, then that might be the problem. Now you see, mine didn't, and there it went. But it's no problem with this rifle. Another issue which you might want to fix is that the safety might be a little bit hard to engage. Mine isn't. But if you want to fix that, you can just disassemble the bolt and sand down this corner of the safety, and make sure not to sand down this small detent, because that's what keeps the safety engaged. If you should sand down this small corner, then the safety might disengage unintentionally. And now I'm going to talk you through changing the barrel. It can be done by yourself, you don't need to call any locksmith. Basically, they've been kind of clever in the design of this rifle. To change to a bigger caliber magazine, you basically just drop the barrel action out of the stock and you remove this spacer. That will make the magazine well accommodate a bigger magazine. The barrel can be changed quite easily. When the barrel action is removed, you will see two screws going in at an angle, two set screws underneath the action. Those screws press against two notches cut into the barrel, and that's what presses the barrel back towards the action. Basically, you just undo those screws and you can pull out the barrel and stick a new one in and then tighten them down again. And with this spacer removed and the new barrel, you're basically done. Okay, I figured since I'm doing this review, I'm going to go through some details about the trigger. The sear of the trigger is right here. If you ever should decide to tinker with this, you can try to sharpen and polish these surfaces. I'm not going to do it because that's some very fine work. I'm not going to try. And this is also the spacer removal for caliber change. There's no tension on it, it's just held in place by the stock when it's mounted. This nut right here is what you adjust the trigger tension. If you back this nut off away from towards the trigger, away from the spring, then you release the tension on the spring and the trigger pull becomes lighter. They have included the wrench for doing that. It's below the bottom metal here. This is the trigger spacer, I guess. It doubles as the wrench for releasing tension on this nut. Right now it's backed off all the way. Now it's not even touching the spring. I'm not sure that's a good thing. There it's barely touching. Basically I want a very light trigger pull. So that's all there is to it. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.